And starting from Link's house, we've got 5 rupees in the chest, and all these runners electing to go to Uncle first, it looks like. So we've got a 5, crystal number 5 over at Eastern. Looked like another crystal at Desert, and I thought it looked like a pendant at Hera, but don't hold me to it.
It was full pendants, crystals, I mean, sorry.
Oh,
in Light World.
Crystal? Crystal on Hera? Okay. So that's why I said don't hold me to it.
Also, one thing you...
Oh, looks like number 6 on Hera, so pay no attention to this man.
One thing you see right now is the color schemes are all different.
Yep, the palette swap is on. I believe it was set up with at least some level of good taste in mind, so it's not like completely what they call puke mode, which is every possible color under the sun. So the difference between the red and the green mimics is, well, you could tell by their movement a little bit, and also, if they're in a room you have to kill them, they're green. Oh my. That is some excellent bombs from the tree pole there. The rest of our runners going through escape automatically with that sword. Ah yes, one of the things about this seed is we were guaranteed to have a sword on Uncle just to make things easier on our runners. And that explains why a lot of them are going to escape first.
And tell me, Slim Kirby's sprite is not glitching, it's the missing nose sprite from Pokemon, so it looks like it's glitching, but it is not, in fact, glitching.
Yeah, just wait till he gets hit, he'll be something else.
I wonder how Hitzian actually swings their sword.
Look, those are some very, very useful toe hooves. Alright, yeah. Confirming once again, that is a 5/6 crystal up on Hera. And off we go. So, Zelda's cell has the burrito for Hyrule Castle, so he's just a voice not missing out on that. Why they do the palette swap? Because why not? You never get to see it outside of Enemizer. Just kind of showcasing the different features and ridiculousness that Enemizer can bring to your game. Now my question is, did we turn on Pot Shuffle? Because let me tell you, Pot Shuffle is a thing.
Isn't that also the thing that swaps the location of the switches that are underneath the pots?
That is correct.
So all of those muscle memory you have for Eastern or Palace of Darkness should be different.
So we did locate the Blue Mail and the Master Sword in Blind's Hut, so both of those items quite good for dealing with some of these enemies.
And our second Lumberjack Cave check, and I did not catch it.
It looks like pots haven't been shuffled. Or we've gotten extremely lucky with the way they've shuffled out. And we got red mail already. Yeah, keys in pots get shuffled. Pots, switches under pots, free stuff you would generally get under pots, those would all get shuffled under pot shuffle. And so you oftentimes end up with the little, with a thing in, say, Swamp. Oh, we've got the Moon Pearl on the bottle vendor as well. Wow, I'm talking about pot shuffle, and here we've got important things happening.
And a big 20 on library. Won't be needing boots for that.
Alright. So Slim Kirby, after clearing out all of Kakariko Village, looks like he's going for the Houlihan room.
He doesn't have gloves, so he can't do it right here in back of Skateful, but he can here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. So, a slightly little-known strategy here for this Houlihan strat. You don't actually have to go in the door. If you just scroll the screen all the way to the top until it stops moving, you can walk in that way.
I have never seen it this way before.
All right, so we've got Slim Kirby now heading for South Shore.
And all of our runners now have Moon Pearl. And oh, Jesse just not yet Master Sword, and everyone will be having the red mail as well. So that's quite nice to already have all of that. And we're just one item away from having to do Aga.
Alright, just a vanilla piece of heart in the sunken treasure location. Slim Kirby appears to be heading for Agina's cave first thing. Interesting play. As he's just a boy, comes into the mini Moldorm cave. This Paladin Desert reminds me of Golf Story.
And yeah, boy just realized the ghost is going from just there and not over the gap.
We got flippers in Mini Moldorm Cave. And a whole bunch of money as well, which gets us closer to that all-important Zora money. Unfortunately, not quite there. However, Slim Kirby, with his heads-up Houlihan play, will be able to get 500 rupees before heading this direction. Another piece of heart on the Zora ledge. Yeah, the sprites are randomizing every time you get hit. Alright, so we're going to see our first look at Ice Rod Cave. And it looks like our hobo had the lamp today. And with the lamp, that gives us access to that wonderful Wizard of Ag.
Which no runner would ever want to do. But the viewers oftentimes like it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I would be tempted to just go for it, especially since I have the Moon Pearl already. There are some things I can take care of while I'm there. However, without the hook shot or, say, hammer, there's not much you can do in the Dark World other than go to Pod.
Can we also just take a quick moment to pay attention to all the enemies that are just floating on the water and not walk, that are literally just standing on the water instead of swimming or drowning?
Yeah, fake flippering in Enemizer is an actual nightmare.
But luckily, all of our runners do have the flippers right now, so no need for fake flippering.
Oh, we've got ourselves a bottle from the waterfall cave. That gives us Sick Kid access.
Oh, and he's just boy is killing off some of the enemies here to hopefully get the Zora money.
Oh, did we get a... Oh, no. Stun drop is only a heart. I know, I saw him stun something to see if he could get money, but it looked like it was not quite good enough. I have done Fake Flipper in Enemizer. It is a nightmare. Speaking of a nightmare, Zora's Domain in general. Because there are so many Zoras in here, that means there are so many enemies. They get randomized.
Oh, and Jessie has the invisible Link sprite, it looks like.
Beautiful. Uh-oh. And swimming Invisible Link is pretty bad because he doesn't... You don't get to even see a shadow at that point.
And Jessie just safe and quitting out of the hobo area, out from underneath the bridge.
So water walking involves using the Moon Pearl when coming out of a cave, or doing a glitch setup using the boots. It does look like the enemy's damage has been somewhat randomized, but I don't think their health has been randomized.
And Zora was just a big 20, so no need to go to Zora. And Sahasrara's hut had the fire shield, and it looks like powder as well.
Oh, so it turns out that wasn't the Invisible Link sprite, that was just a bug that he triggered accidentally. Alright, so we're looking at Back of Escape now. We've got a glove! We've got powder over in Sahasrara's hut, and a shield.
And Palace of Darkness is our green pendant for this seed. Now that I see at the back of. Now that I see the fire bars are also in the randomization. Are the fire bars in Turtle Rock, the Dark Room, also randomized?
They are, but luckily, the vast majority of the enemies that get randomized to them don't actually, can't actually fly. So they get kind of stuck where they are. So usually the Turtle Rock Dark Room is a little more merciful than usual. Now this room that He's Just a Boy is doing is not enemized at all. These are just going to be Stalfos. But their health pool has been randomized, it looks like. So there is some health randomization going on here as well, because that pot did not kill the Stalfos.
Red Igor's in the wall for Old Man Cave. That's quite nice, actually, but quite awesome as well.
Ooh, silver arrows from the old man. That's going to be pretty nice.
Just
once
what we
get
needed.
That bow.
Just what we needed to kill those Red Igors in the wall. That old man has us covered for his path, for the troubles.
Yeah, so as a general rule, the way the Enemizer handles rooms where you have to kill things, it won't put enemies that require specific weapons to kill in those rooms. So it actually lowers some of the requirements for, say, Eastern Palace or the Palace of Darkness as well as the climb up Ganon's Tower. We did get the hook shot in the big key chest of Eastern Palace. So that is going to grant us access to the east side of Death Mountain. And we now enter a room that is an actual nightmare. Which is the back of Eastern. So there's one room on the way through Eastern that is the worst. And that is the room right before Armos Knights. Whatever the boss is for Armos Knights is, it doesn't really matter. The room before it is the true boss of Eastern Palace. Because there's 8 enemies in there in a very confined space.
And a Lionel blocking the path for He's Just a Boy, but nice enough to get out of the way.
Yeah, Lionels do generally hit like a truck, but interestingly enough, they are one of the enemies with the most predictable movement patterns, and you can sort of manipulate them to get around them if you know what you're doing. Dealing with Lionels is probably one of the first things you want to learn if you want to try out Enemizer.
That randomization isn't too bad for He's Just a Boy, but
yeah, it's not too bad, but the mini Moldorms are really getting after you. And there we go. Death ensues because the damage values on those enemies were a little high, even for red mail.
I wonder what Eastern Palace boss will be. What the Eastern Palace boss will be.
I imagine we'll find out on Slim Kirby's screen pretty soon.
Unless he falls as well to the true boss of Enemizer, Eastern Palace.
Now, I'm not exactly sure how they did enemy damage shuffle. If it's Chaos enemy damage shuffle, it could be that the red mail doesn't actually help. Because Chaos Shuffle just sort of takes the damage table for the mail and just randomizes every value. And so it could be that the red mail makes it worse.
Also, it is thus possible that, well, we'll see in just a moment, that, okay, and it is Vanilla.
Oh, Vanilla Armos. We're about to see a Boomerang Armos fight.
But it would be possible to have to save and quit out of the boss room for Eastern in this case, if in the case of it being Trinex, for example, right?
Right. I don't think the boomerang does any more the red boomerang does any more damage than the blue boomerang. And so each Armos takes 48 boomerang hits to die, and that's if the health of the bosses haven't been randomized.
And he's just a boy, dies once again, sadly.
Yeah, like I said, that room is the true final boss of this dungeon. Now that being said, I think despite the randomization of damage and everything, the hook shot still one-shots the mini Moldworms.
But it's quite interesting.
These Armos Knights are basically indestructible. 30 minutes later.
Ah!
Oh, we got one.
Just 5, no, 4 more to go. We're getting there, guys. And we're halfway there. Meanwhile, we are getting a Death Mountain check from Hitzian.
So you can't be forced to kill this particular boss without bow, logically, because the Enemizer does not change the location of the items from the original seed. But you can be forced to kill Armos Knights elsewhere without the bow, absolutely.
Only thing I wonder about right now is how much hits Slim Kirby did on that last Armos Knight before it turned red.
Probably not too many. When he turns red, he gains all his health back, so... There we go.
Titans.
Wow, glove and shovel. And a bottle. And a arrow upgrade. So, Paradox game, pretty nice.
And Kirby is now done with the very first crystal of the game, the Eastern Palace Crystal.
So we got the red rupee, but we also got the red crystal from Eastern Palace, so that is slightly more important than just finding that rupee.
And let's see how long it will take for Jesse to get rid of the Armos Knights.
Now, He's Just a Boy is having some trouble again. This time attempting to reach... Wait, is he going up Agate Tower? Oh, okay. No, he's going to the back. He's going to escape. Slim Kirby also going back to escape. Which I don't believe he checked in the first place. Ooh, we've got a Book of Mudora in Spiral Cave as well.
Let's just hope we can read the logic with it.
Maybe. And of course, in our lovely Paradox Cave, we found the Titan's Mints, which means we can head to the Dark World. We have our official map check, and that is pendants at green pendant at Pod, and then we've got blue and red at Skull, Woods, and Ice Palace.
Are the enemies, the ice enemies in Ice Palace, also randomized? Or do you still need fire rod and or bombos to get past? And
There's our
the
bow. So with the silvers, hopefully that would make the Armos Knights a little easier. We'll be able to tell if their health has been randomized at all if you shoot them with an arrow and they don't die.
Isn't a silver arrow a one-shot in Enemizer?
It depends. If the Armos Knight's health has been randomized above 100, then it will take more than one shot.
Wow. And there's our big shield.
So Hitzion, we note he went into Eastern and left after getting the hook shot, because logically he needed the bow to get back there. And it turns out finding the bow is going to make things a lot easier on him. So one of the nice little features of Enemizer is this thing called random sprite on hit, where if you take damage, you change sprites. Or if you get hit. It's not necessarily if you take damage. If you get hit, you change sprites. It's just a neat little feature. It also doubles the size of the ROM. Because
wow.
you have to get all that sprite data in there. And all the sprite data is uncompressed. So it has to be in there all full.
And there's the ice rod.
Zarby can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the reason the Enemized ROM is twice as large.
I guess Sick Kid is using the ice rod to cool himself down for his fever, but I don't know how effective that is.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly did have a cold. That's for sure. That's for sure. Alright, so it looks like Hitzion is headed for Skull Woods. We will not be able to head to the back just yet, but hopefully we won't have to because it's a pendant. And I imagine that's what Hitzion is thinking coming back here. We've got a small key there for Hitzion, meaning we won't have to go to the pot room, or the pinball room, excuse me. And I just missed what that was, unfortunately.
I do wonder, does Bob have been changed as well?
Yeah, so one of the things with Enemizer is in Enemizer the sprites have been swapped around, and it turns out the one that is affected by the Bob glitch also changes occasionally. So like, I've had a different enemy just show up really garbled, and then I hit the torch and it came back fine.
And there are 2 Hinoxes in Spiral Cave.
I mean, that's just rude. Wait, was that the hammer?
I don't know.
Or was it just
No,
a
it
weird
was just
colored
a
small
small
key? Okay. Okay, it's just a small key, it just looked weird against the background. Everything is fine.
One thing sort of nice about this is dead rocks are changed as well, so we might not get bodied that much on Death Mountain.
Yep. Though there is a dead rock right here, over by Bumper Cave. There's the hammer! It's on Bumper Cave! Wait a minute. Are the bumpers randomized? Maybe. Probably not.
I don't think so, but that would be cool, I guess.
I don't think they are. But we are going to need the cape before we can get a hold of that hammer.
Okay, and Zarby just confirms bumpers are not changed. And he's just a boy right now, getting blocked by a mini Helma. But gets through just fine by throwing one of those skulls.
Alright, just a big 20 in the race game, but we got another 100 rupees there for no reason.
I think you mean chest game.
Did I say digging game?
Race game.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a race to get the right chest, I guess.
Yeah. Alright, so we enter Thieves Town. The very first chest is, of course, the big key. We're going to have to find that at some point, so it's nice to get that out of the way. The rest of these have 4 items total, with 3 dungeon items mixed in. Now, without the hammer, we can't get into the big chest. Unless we want to do some weird major glitch stuff. And even then, we require the Cane of Samaria to do that. Did we turn on killable thieves or not? That's the question.
Well, in my opinion, the thieves are always unkillable. Or practically. I never bother to kill them off.
Fake Master Swords. Those are great. So, the thing with the Mothula boss room is that the spikes that come out of the sides do not happen unless Mothula is there. So, that at least makes it a little easier. You will still have a moving floor, but the floor won't change directions. It'll always go the same direction.
And what will be in Thieves Town?
We have a Trinex. So Hitzion is going to have to bow out for a minute before trying to beat Trinex. And with no... So you've got no fire rod, and the fun thing is you've also got no hammer, so you'd have to beat it with Master Sword, which is not the greatest. Takes 10 slashes or 5 spins per head.
Also, regular magic bar, not half magic.
Yeah. Hey Zarby, can you be required to fight Trinex with just Fire Rod, Ice Rod, and Fighter Sword?
No, please no.
I've done it. It ain't pretty.
Hey, look, we're at the chess game.
Okay, I get it.
Sorry, had to do it.
You can actually beat Trinex with just a Fighter Sword. Oh, I had 4 bottles. It was part of one of the worst plandos I've ever seen. Anyway, so moving on, we've got Slim Kirby heading into the desert. We've got a bulk for that purpose. And Stumpsman has our single arrow for the day.
Let's see if we are boots locked within Desert Palace.
We've got a big key, so we will be able to defeat the boss without the boots, but we'll see if the palace is logically locked. If the small key is here, then the palace is logically locked behind the boots. And so it is.
And this is a hypercave check, which is not much.
We've got the Quake Medallion in the big chest of Desert, and Slim Kirby is going to peace out.
And we have Hitzian with the Invisible Sprite once again, it looks like.
Yeah. This time it's the normal Invisible Sprite. Ooh, Jesse gets a lucky fairy drop in this awful, awful room. And Sword Beam's now doing some, pretty decent work in this room.
Let's see, is 1 silver arrow enough, or is it not?
Oh, Enemizer. Somebody's talking about Enemizer in chat. Yeah, they still die to 1 silver, so the health hasn't been that randomized. Yeah, Enemizer occasionally makes random junk items get replaced with bees! Where you pick up the chest and you get a swarm of bees.
But do they rip your flesh off or not?
I mean, depends on how high the damage setting is. Yeah, 16 to Armos. Hey, it's not me who calls it junk, it's the devs that call it junk. Like, if you look in the code, there's a list of items that say junk. Silvers deal 100 damage. just about everything that takes damage from them. And this is why Vitreous takes 2 shots to kill, because he's got 128 health. Slim Kirby also clearing out Skull Woods, while Hitzion is going to go digging. Finds the fire rod!
And thus, we can go into Thieves Town and get that crystal.
We can beat Trinex now, that is true. I don't know for sure. I can't know for sure. I would like to. I would ask the person what settings they used for the Enemizer, but I wasn't told what settings were used, and neither were the runners.
And there's our tempered sword at the maiden's cell.
Very nicely done. So he's just a boy, he's getting that tempered sword, but unfortunately we'll meet with a rude awakening once we reach the final boss room.
And not noping out right immediately, but taking the death.
It looks like Trinex's damage may actually be reduced a bit. Oh, I love the Argus Sprite's Death Sprite. It's so good. It's a crystal and a heart container. Yeah, Pot Shuffle is not on. Which is, you know, a saving grace for some of these people, because there are some really tricky situations that Pot Shuffle can land you in. My favorite thing is when there's a key under, like, the pots in the northeast corner of the Swamp Palace big chest room, where you have to bomb the wall to get to them.
That's awful. I was just immediately thinking, wait, does that mean you can do Swamp without hookshot? But then, no.
No, you still need to get to the back door. Alright, so Hitzion taking that fire rod and heading to Skull Woods with it.
And Kirby is going to grab up his fire rod. No, it doesn't have mirror, so not yet. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is one of the things that the palette swap does is it kind of occasionally makes it difficult to remember if you're in the light or the dark world. I would often try to go in places without and be like, wait, this is not the right... Oh, I'm in the wrong world. And we've got Cold Stare in Mothula's room. So it's lucky that Hitzion came in with a blue potion, or he'd be unable to break this shell. Yeah, it looks like the boss's damage values have been shuffled because Hitzion is taking much less damage than you would take normally from a Cold Stare Cream Puff here.
Is that sprite on Slim Kirby's side from Lufia 2, one of those enemies? One of the beginning enemies?
No, but I know what you're talking about. The sprite on the right is actually the little tree that appears in the place that looks like Sahasrah's hut in the Dark World.
Ah, but
it's also the red male version of that.
It does look like one of those enemies.
It sure does. We see straight garbage on the pyramid. Looks like we're gonna get a catfish check. Slim Kirby is heading into Thieves Town for his first time. So he's gonna get the rude Trinex awakening. I actually think before Hitzion goes in for another shot at Trinex, he's probably going to want to get more magic. Or some potions to go with that. Looks like that might be the case today. With the Thieves Town key being in the big chest. Which means that the hammer cannot be behind anything that Blind has, which we know is just a big 20 anyway. Or no, I'm making that up. When I say Blind, I mean Trinex in this case. And it's not necessarily big 20, I don't know what I'm talking about. Fire Rod was at the dig spot.
And he's just about to grab it up. Let's see how Slim Kirby will know out of the... Oh, he's not... Oh! Not checking the boss immediately.
Yep. You know, there's still plenty of items down in the basement. Of course, we'll get that tempered sword as part of it.
And Jesse immediately noped out of the Trinex fight in Thieves Town.
So the maiden just doesn't appear in Enemizer. So basically, you know, if you're go-moding Thieves Town, you can walk directly to the boss. You won't have to worry about the maiden. Alright, so now Hitzion is going to head into Desert. Going to get the same information that Slim Kirby got a while ago, pick up the Quake Medallion, and then we'll see if Hitzion decides to go finish off the boss, or if he decides instead to peace out. You don't actually need to bomb the skylight in Enemizer either. The whole, you know, fetch the boss quest is is patched out of Enemizer. Because it's very difficult to get the maiden to turn into something other than blind. I'm sure it's possible, but it's also, you know, not great from a logistics perspective, because you also, you know, you'd probably end up with the boss spawning on top of you. The Andy Pink Kitty Road race should be starting in about 30 minutes. That is a pretty hype race. But we will definitely be following this race to its conclusion.
And Slim Kirby notices that he doesn't have the fire rod for Trinex and thus nopes out of there.
And Trinex, 2 heads down for He's Just a Boy, and this will be the final head. So one other thing about Enemizer is that all of the bosses, instead of dropping their items where they fall, they actually drop them in the middle of the room. And the reason for that is Trinex could be there, and Trinex could die off-screen. Oh, we've got tile pattern rando.
And Hitzian is not checking out what boss is in Desert just yet.
He was going to get more magic just in case it's a magic intensive boss.
Will this be our second Trinex, or?
It's Vitreous, which should be, you know, a pretty quick kill.
And we find the map, which means that there's one item on the right side left.
Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, seeing from Zarby in chat that the main reason for the drop in the middle was actually if you had blind in pod, he could drop the item at the top of the screen behind the spikes, and then you'd be kind of screwed. Speaking of pod, well, no, Hitsion's going back to finish Eastern. He never did that. Oh my goodness. The lock. Hitsion is caught on the stairs with this crystal beetle who's dealing no damage.
That's rough. That's really rough.
And therefore giving no iframes. So Hitsion just trying it again. one thing about Enemizer is it really tests your knowledge of game mechanics when it comes to dealing with enemies and such. So we've got Slim Kirby entering Palace of Darkness. This will be a new dungeon for us. We've got the big key in the first chest. So ordinarily this dungeon would be bow locked, but one, we have the bow already, and two, you don't actually need the bow to go down the right side in Enemizer. I think the way we've got it set up with Chaos Boss Shuffle, I think it's Chaos Boss Shuffle. I don't know for sure, but the idea is any boss can appear any number of times. Hitzion has taken a significant amount of damage here, and it's going to have a pretty solid time trying to get through that last room before Armos. Jesse also taking care of Vitreous.
Ooh, and takes the death. But Jesse finishes off Desert Palace.
It looks like Slim Kirby has decided against finishing off Pod.
Well, Pod is our dream pendant, so I kinda get why.
Yep, there are a lot of items in there though, so could be important. Yeah, 6 turtle room can be pretty bad in Enemizer. Okay, Slim Kirby's now heading back to Pod. Oh, I see what happened with Slim Kirby. He actually save and quit out of the right-hand side because he didn't have the hammer, and then realized he had to go all the way back from Village of Outcasts because no hammer. What's up with all these late hammer seeds I've been seeing recently? All right. So Jesse takes care of Trinex in Thieves Town, while He's Just a Boy takes down Armos in Eastern, and we can proceed. Alright, Slim Kirby now engaged in a more full clear of Palace of Darkness. There's a flute in the back of Pod. That's going to be some progression. That'll get us toward Misery Mire.
And Slim Kirby now has the invisible sprite.
Yeah, we have the Mire area, at least.
And we have our first forfeit of this match. Plasma Kappa forfeited from the race, sadly.
And you can all guess what his comment was. Alright, so Slim Kirby is now checking out the Mire Shed. This is a location that was just opened up because of that flute. Got a piece of heart, and there's our cake! That gets us the hammer. Turns out Misery Mire does require the Quake Medallion, so Slim Kirby's going to go ahead and go for it. Now, without the Cane of Samaria, he's going to have a hard time finishing it, but for all we know, the cane could be in there.
So, all we need now is just boots, hammer, mirror, Cane of Samaria, right?
Yes, we don't necessarily need the boots, physically. Logically we do, but a lot of runners will potentially forego it.
Well, there is that 1 in 22 chance in GT.
Yep, there is always that.
And Misery Mire main room has rollers. That's just terrible.
So yeah, one of the things I've noticed about the Enemizer is there's generally a list of enemies that can be in the same place as other enemies. So like when you've got guards, you'll have mostly guards, maybe like some rats, things like that. They're all sort of part of the same area's loadout. Alright, so Heatsion finally going to deal with Trinex, and did pick up that Tempered Sword before coming in here, making this a much simpler fight.
And that is Thieves Town done for Heatsion.
You do not have to turn on Palette Swap for Enemizer. It is a complete... There is an option. You can just check it on or off. I don't know if it's on by default, but you can always change it.
Also, He's Just a Boy is going to pick up his flute, most likely.
Alright. Slim Kirby continuing to explore Misery Mire. Oh, that's just a rude spot for a trap.
Are those spikes underneath the tiles real?
Oh yes, they are real.
Oh my no. Okay, I'm not playing any Enemizer, I think. Or at least not until I get better.
That's another option you can get out of. You can shut off. You don't have to have randomized tile types.
And no fire rod yet for Slim Kirby means that he has to do the slow way and push all the blocks in Misery Mire. And all that for just 20 bucks.
That's what Cutscene Room does to you.
And all of our runners are either already having the flute, or they are on their way towards the flute.
Runners converging on Palace of Darkness as we speak. As Slim Kirby heads to the big chest of Misery Mire. Still no Cane of Samaria on hand, and therefore will have to leave the dungeon. He was still looking for items, so I am assuming that Vitreous has one.
I'm just now thinking about it now that with the cane requirement for Mire, what if we swap the cane's usage and rod usage, and possibly even boomerang. Like you could use red boomerang and get the ice rod effect.
Well, that would be interesting. There is a hack out there called the Weaponizer, which sort of randomizes damage and effects of weapons.
And there is the fire rod for Slim Kirby.
So when I say second item on Vitreous, I mean second item on whoever is in the room that Vitreous usually occupies. Itzion is taking the world's longest death warp and decides to just walk out. Things are just not damaging you right now.
That's so bad and so rough. And there's the flute for He's Just a Boy.
So after Slim Kirby finishes off Thieves Town, I think the next place I would go is, I think I'd go to Tower of Hera.
I was thinking, wait, how do you go to Hera? We don't have a mirror, but you can go all the way around by going hookshot over and then up, and then hammer the pegs down once you get the cape and thus get the hammer.
Yep. And since Slim Kirby does have that cape, we know that that will be a pretty solid destination. Okay, who put the BMOS on the Hammer Yump Bridge? Who is responsible for that abomination?
And last phase, last head for Slim Kirby.
And this will be the last of the Thieves Town Trinex we see today. But it may not be the last of Trinex.
And if you would all please rise for the Hyrulean national anthem from He's Just a Boy.
Ah, yes. Oh yeah, I forgot to make up lyrics. That's alright. I'll live for today.
Well, we still have Hitzian who has to activate the flute, so if you are fast enough.
Nah, it's fine. I'm not sure I have it in me today. Wait, did Slim Kirby not know that the hammer was up here? Because he started walking away like he was just gonna leave, and then he was like, wait a minute.
I think Hitzian checked, but I'm not too sure. At least it wasn't Slim. Fun fact, Slim in Dutch is smart, so Slim Kirby is just Smart Kirby.
Well, there you go.
I wonder what we'll find in Tower of Hera.
Okay, I got lyrics. Here we go.
Yeah! This is gonna be good.
I think I'm gonna wait for Heatseon because Heatseon is the one that the audio is playing on right now.
And another rise for Hyrulean National Anthem.
Alright, so Slim Kirby is going into Tower of Hera, as I might have expected. We'll see some wonderful things up in here. Get the big key first. And now, as Heatseon makes his way over to the duck statue, you'll all rise. So here comes the Swag Duck Anthem. I will give you my word that this Enemizer isn't just one of the worst things you can play. But if you like punishment and a little amusement, then I must recommend you try it today.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Well, chat is clapping for you and giving you a 10 out of 10, so
That's good.
you can put that in your pocket.
All right, so Heatseon about to find his cape. That will lead to the hammer as well. I'm assuming that he's just a boy also has the cape. Yeah.
And we have Cold Stare in Tower of Hera.
Interesting. So that can get a little hairy once the puffballs start bouncing around.
Well, it's this is not bad balls.
Oh, Slim Kirby is one short. If he had used his sword beams, he could have gotten. He could have used the sword beam glitch to get some more damage in on the shell, but he was one shot short of being able to break the shell of Cold Stare there.
That's rough.
And there is some magic here in Tower of Hera, but you have to go to the basement to get it. Looks like He's Just a Boy is doing the same thing. Jesse taking that hammer, also gonna put it to good use up there. Or wait, no. Has he gotten the hammer yet? Doesn't look like it. This isn't the way you go if you want to use the hammer.
That's true.
Does he think he can get into Spike Cave? Oh, okay. Okay, he's got the hammer. Basically, if you use the fire rod and then swing your sword and do a sword beam right after, the sword beam will also measure as a fire rod hit. It's kind of weird, but it works. Unfortunately, he's just a boy. After finishing off that room, lost used some magic, so he's going to be short for Cold Stare.
And being on the topic of Cold Stare, being so high up in the sky, it's cold. So cold is high up in the sky and thus cold, I guess. It makes sense.
Sure. Now, we did just see a pedestal check from Heatzion. Turns out just a piece of heart, so no pedestal hype today.
And there are ball and chain guards in the fifth floor of Tower of Hera.
Alright, so he's just a boy entering Cold Stare fight, going to once again be disappointed because he doesn't have enough magic, but he's got a blue potion, so that's fine.
He's got enough magic, I guess.
Slim Kirby being very careful not to get damaged or not to be knocked away while using that fire rod, but very close to falling into that main hole. He's just a boy finishes off Cold Stare with a 300 rupee drop.
It was a very nice fight from He's Just a Boy. You know what this also opens?
It opens our good friend the Pyramid Fairy.
So that's gonna be fun. 2 item locations open right now. And Heatzion is also not on full magic, so this might be some trouble for him or her as well.
Whoa. Our camera was off center for a second there over on Heatzion's screen.
And we have a synchronized spike cave check.
I think synchronized spike cave checking is one of the new Olympic events in the next upcoming games. That gets a 9.8 from the judges. But just a piece of heart for the runners. Alright, so Slim Kirby is now heading to the Dark World via the Kakariko portal.
I'm thinking right now. He's Just a Boy is quite far ahead, I would say, right now. And we can enter Ice Palace, but we cannot enter Mire. T-Rock, yeah, we can enter, but... Or, well, we can't finish it, I mean. And Swan. So, Ice is the only dungeon with pod we could enter, truly.
If I'm He's Just a Boy, I am hoping against hope for the mirror here at Fat Fairy. That way I don't have to go into Ice Palace. the Mirror or the Cane of Samaria. The Cane of Samaria will let you finish Mire and head into Turtle Rock. Zora was in fact check. It was pretty much straight Garbo. We've got a bottle and a mirror!
Oh, wow. You called it. You called it.
So that gives us Swamp Palace.
And with Swamp Palace, some more items.
Yeah. So there are a lot of times where I will choose Ice Palace over Swamp Palace. This is not one of them. When Ice Palace is a pendant, Swamp Palace is a crystal, and you just got the mirror. Yeah, I don't think anyone had enough magic going into Cold Stare, with the potential exception of he's just a boy who just happened to have a potion lying around. And you know, in general, I think it's a pretty good idea to carry a magic restoring potion into any dungeon you're going to do in Enemizer, because you never know when you're going to need it. Now, Hitzion is also going to check that Pyramid Fairy, so we're going to get those, going to get the mirror there as well. So Hitzion and He's Just a Boy are going to be pretty close in terms of their time here.
Logically, we only now need the boots and the Cane of Samaria, and then we are in go mode.
Very true.
And Jesse has an... Oh wait, we already knew that. Jesse has enough magic for the Cold Stare fight, while Slim Kirby did not.
Alright, first chest in Swamp Palace is Big 20. Oh, and Jesse gets trolled by Cold Stare.
Troll Stare, I guess?
Cold Stare indeed, and he's going to have to go get more magic.
It's either Troll Stare or Cold Troll.
Alright, so he's just a boy now entering the main business center of Swamp Palace. Gonna head to the southern room for the compass chest.
And Jesse buying and using a green potion. And then buying a blue one. 2 blue ones.
Piece of Heart. So far, Swamp Palace not paying out, but it does seem likely to contain the cane somewhere. Oh, there's a Wall Master in the back of Swamp. I wonder how many of our runners are going to get caught by that.
That's really rough.
The Wallmaster troll is in fact real today. Oh, left side swamp getting wall mastered would be the actual worst.
And he's just avoid dodging the hand the second time.
No, you actually have to leave the dungeon for the water to drain. So one interesting thing about enemies is enemies tend to act weird when they're on shallow water. So like thieves who would usually run towards you actually run away.
And we have our second runner also grabbed by the Wallmaster. It's also got grabbed up. I was thinking Slim as well, but he just went into the life world to just now enter.
Alright, Jesse going for round 2 against Cold Stare. We've got land molas in Swamp Palace. And that's another thing with Argus's room. In Enemizer, Argus's room does not have water because most enemies can't handle being in shallow water. So we are missing, I believe, still one item, possibly two items from Swamp. So we've got the big key, we have the big key. We have not seen the map, I think, or the compass. It's one of those two.
The map. We haven't found the burrito yet. And we have a roller in left side swamp. That's really nice.
Beautiful. Slim Kirby is going left side first, interestingly enough. When you're one item from go mode, skipping left side is a defensible play. Whether it's correct or not, I will leave up to the historians.
And Jesse is about to grab up his Mire as well.
Good old-fashioned burrito in the big chest, meaning two items over here on the left side. We're going to finally see these items from Slim Kirby, and he's just a boy.
Three bombs is the first item. And drum roll, $20.
Rip. The entire dungeon is a bust. And it looks like Ice Palace may be the play after all.
We also have K45 and Bombo's tablet, which could have items being unlocked by the mirror.
Yeah, and Graveyard Ledge.
Let's see, Bombo's tablet has bombs.
I just need to stick to my guns about Swamp always being garbage, and then I'll always be right. Maybe not. Oh, looks like Slim Kirby did manage to juke out the Wall Master.
And the only item location left that was unlocked by mirror is Graveyard Ledge, as we got Bombo's medallion and K45 checked. So it is shaping up to be Ice Palace, Pendant Ice Palace, being our progression.
So we're also checking Peg Cave here, which is another thing we didn't see, because we just got the hammer recently. Nope, big 20 there as well. And so Graveyard Ledge is basically the one thing separating us from Diving Ice Palace.
Did we get a lunchbox check?
Yeah, lunchbox was checked. I believe it was just 50 rupees. Another possibility is that the green pendant has something, or Helmasaur. Magic Bat with just the blue rupee.
Also,
Oh yeah, checkerboard. Completely forgot about checkerboard.
At least we can check that altar board now.
Pedestal was piece of heart. Checkerboard also piece of heart. And he's just a boy. I think we'll probably be heading over to Graveyard Ledge now, it looks like.
Anything to avoid dipping a pendant dungeon.
Especially Pendant Ice Palace. Nobody likes Pendant Ice Palace. Lunchbox, I believe, was 50 rupees.
Something people, I think, fear even more than Pendant Ice, Pendant T-Rock, or Pendant Swamp.
Yeah. I would personally love to be in Turtle Rock right about now. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to be possible.
And 50 bucks. So Pendant Ice it is.
Oh, you were asking what is Lunchbox? It's the purple chest. Sorry about that. Zarby's got you covered there. I thought you meant what is the thing? I was like, I just answered that. But now I know why. Because I'm a dumb. Alright. So we basically covered all the mirror locations, and we've come up empty. I'm not sure He's Just a Boy is going to be able to get back in that portal, if he wants to. Okay, he is. He's fine.
I thought he'd want to mirror. He'd want to flute out. Oh, he's checking Mire.
Right. One of our runners has basically cleared out Mire. I believe that was Slim Kirby. Unfortunately, he has not completed the dungeon because no Cane of Samaria. Jesse now making his way into Swamp. And Slim Kirby coming to the inevitable conclusion, I imagine that Ice Palace might be required.
Let's see where Hitchian will be going.
So Hitchian heading up to 1. I think this will be a Spike Cave check. Well, it's not hard mode, it's just Enemizer. Enemizer is weird. And Enemizer can make things significantly harder than normal, that is correct.
Just imagine having to fight let's say 6 Throin Axes.
Oh, and Jesse also dodging the Wallmaster in the back of Swamp.
Oh, Hitchian takes death. That's too bad.
Well, that's really annoying. You don't want to have to do that again.
But it looks like he will.
Is he trying to get through Spike Cave on 12 hearts? Because I think without significant, like, bomb triggers and stuff, you need at least 13. I said bomb triggers. That's a different game. Bomb iframes.
I have no clue. They don't even have magic right now. What are they doing? Going full on hearts. They must have a blue or red potion.
Okay. Whew. Everything is fine.
We have our first Ice Palace play from Slim Kirby here.
Alright, ice time. So this is a scenario in which, for the next room, I'd be tempted to pull out my Quake medallion and then realize, wait, this is Enemizer.
And you can just suffice with Hookshot still.
I actually think Quake would take care of these two, but I don't know for sure. But Hookshot definitely takes care of them. Unfortunately, just a compass there, so still not finding that cane of Samaria.
Or the boots. Or any of the other fetch quest items, such as the... Well, it's only the mushroom now.
He's just a boy loading up on potions. I feel like this is an Ice Palace play as well. And a Hinox has our key here in the Ice Palace conveyor room of doom.
I'm just reading chat right now, and 1up40 said maybe Sahasrara has an item for us.
Yeah, that is the other main possibility. We've got the 3 items in Ice Palace. We've got Sahasrara. I think maybe Helmasaur has an item?
I have no clue. And we have Luigi sprite for he's just a boy right now.
Alright, Slim Kirby finishing off that room that is usually pet engagers and heading into the Friezo room chest.
And
Pick up the map.
That's just terrible.
So it looks like we'll be heading to the right side here.
And Hitzian takes a death. Oh. That was deep into Misery Mire as well.
Alright, so Hitzian is out. Decided this is not worth his time. So those enemies aren't different there in Ice Palace, they just have different sprites because some sort of abomination has occurred. So he was just off to get more magic apparently. Or more hearts or something. Because he's headed right back.
There's an item from Ice Palace.
That's one.
10 arrows.
There's our big key.
Oh,
that's its vanilla location actually for that big key.
And not even French.
So, is there such a thing as Dutch vanilla?
That would, I'd say, if it's Dutch vanilla, it's in the first chest. That's available, as we want to go as efficiently as possible and as cheap as possible.
Okay then. So we now have access to that big chest. We can see what's in there. Interestingly enough, if there is a small key on Cold Stare, it wanted you to have the cane to beat him. Oh, speaking
and
of which,
there it is. There's our progression and our most likely go mode.
Yeah, unless there's some sort of shenanigans on the torch in GT, we'll be good. Alright, so Slim Kirby gets the Cane of Samaria and pieces out. So it's time to go finish off Misery Mire and Turtle Rock.
And Desert Palace.
Yeah, Slim Kirby also hasn't finished Desert. Interestingly enough, Slim Kirby is the only one of our runners to not have completed any pendant dungeons. Well, no, Jesse hasn't done so either. I want the boss of Ice Palace to not be seen. That's what I want the boss of Ice Palace to be.
And he's just a boy. Is about to grab up his Cane of Samaria and his go mode. Or well, 21 out of 20. No, wait, 21 out of 22 go mode.
Correct. What? Big Chain Chomp. I mean, I think one of the alternate sprites for Trinex is basically a Big Chain Chomp. Or several Big Chain Chomps.
We have at least 2 more bosses which will be randomized. Well, no. 4. Landmodus 2 and Trolldorm 2.
Mm-hmm. And potentially Ice Armos if we have to go to the vanilla big key chest of GT. Oh boy. So Heatzion, instead of going to Ice Palace, is going to go ahead and finish off Helmasaur.
Let's just hope they don't find Boots.
I'm betting Boots are probably in Turtle Rock at this point. They have to be available before GT because of the logic. So, Turtle Rock seems most likely. Well, we'll at least get to see what Helmasaur has as Slim Kirby makes his way down to the dark rooms of Misery Mire.
Oh, that's right, all these mini Helmasaurs are also changed. The turtles, I mean.
Yeah, with the Desert Palace as it is, the small key for Desert is on the torch. That means that the game, or the logic, assumes you have the boots to be desert, and since you have to beat desert to get into GT, the boots can't be in GT. The reason for that is you could steal a key from the back and go to the right-hand side and key lock yourself out of desert without the boots. We've got Troll Dorm in Victory's room. Pretty easy. You know, just don't step on the top of the room. Hey, we got Butter Sword at Troll Dorm as well. Helmasaur is just Helmasaur today. And we've got an Ether Medallion. Now, we know that Ether is not required today.
If Bombos is on... if Sahasrara has Bombos, I'm gonna laugh.
That would be pretty hilarious. No, boots cannot be on the Torch of Desert Palace because you couldn't get them.
And boots lock on... Oh, and it's bombs. Well, that's an Ice Palace for Hitzion. But boots also lock other items, as in Bomb Crocs and King's Tomb.
Right. So that's why that happens. Boots could be there in like a no logic seed or something like that. But good luck with that. Yeah, the seed has not been particularly friendly. You had to go into Pendant Ice Palace to get the Cane of Samaria. You had to go into Pendant Pod to get the Flute. You had to go to the Dig Spot to get the Fire Rod. You basically had to double dip Thieves Town if you wandered in without that Fire Rod, because Trinex was the boss. Yeah, no one has finished on the SRL chat as far as I can tell.
This is gonna be really tight between Kirby and He's Just a Boy.
So boots can be in Ganon's Tower basically anywhere as long in general, but in this seed they can't. You know, except for the torch.
And a small key in that first chest from Turtle Rock.
Let's see, what other fun boss placements did we have? Well, we had Cold Stare at Tower of Hera. That threw some people off. Let's see. It threw someone off, literally.
Well, I'd say the Moldorm at Mire was also quite fun.
Helmasaur at Tower of Hera is kind of my favorite in terms of trolling, because he usually likes to hang out on top of the hole. And if you get too close to him, you'll fall in.
And there is our mushroom in the Chain Chomp's room.
Alright, well what if we had the boots on the witch?
At least they have style then, I guess. Just to make the potions faster, use boots to run around the pot.
Alright, so our anti-fairies there, which are usually kind of helpful, turning into traps and chain chomps, which are just plain old jerks. Big Key is vanilla today. And Slim Kirby is actually going out the south end of the Big Key chest, knowing there's a full magic refill right here. Oh, Hitiad getting dead rocked in front of that chest.
And there is Jesse's go mode.
You know, I wish that I had Jesse's go mode. Anyways, I'm done with that. Alright, so Slim Kirby now into the last portion of Thieves Turtle Rock, as well as He's Just a Boy.
Slim Kirby opted to check the big chest while He's Just a Boy didn't.
Ooh, He's Just a Boy getting a little bit off track here.
And we had Sankheart in that rotor room where an anti-fairy was.
Seems good.
And all 4 of our runners are now in 21 out of 22 go mode. 90-something% go mode.
Alright, so we go down to Laser Bridge. Both of our runners are going to need to locate a small key. There it is. He's Just a Boy is leaving.
Why is Slim Kirby using the cape when he has Mirror Shield?
Because Mirror Shield, if you want to do it without taking damage, is slow. Because you have to hold out your sword one way and then you have to release the spin. Now here's the question. If you were one of these runners, and you were in 21 out of 22 go mode, you get that small key, do you open the other 2 chests in case one of them is the boots?
I would.
We've got Mothula in Trinex's room. This should be a very quick fight. Just don't knock her into the spikes. Half magic! With all the magic troubles we've had this seed, that's a great place to find it, on the very last boss you killed before GT.
And we still have no finishers just yet, so He's Just a Boy or Slim Kirby might get first place this race.
Alright, so where do we think the big key is going to be? I'm, of course, going to guess Bob's chest, because that is my traditional guess.
Well, if we say locations, I'm gonna say the fire bar room, as in the hookshot room and all the bonks things you can do there, and then the double fire bar room that has 1 chest.
Okay. Now, of course, both of our, I imagine our chat is going to think the torch is a very popular location. We see he's just a boy going for it immediately. It's just a small key this time, though. So, no torch troll today.
And go mode achieved. That's a very quick fight from Hetzian.
Slim Kirby is going right side first. And he's just a boy is going to go right side now. We've got this sort of dark magician strat going on. Now I imagine that with he's just a boy checking out Stolfos' room first, after clearing out this compass room, he'll probably continue on the right-hand side.
And there's our Birdnet. Nice.
Oh, we're getting tile room first from he's just a boy.
Would you call it a gamble, tile room?
Not in the current situation, because I've been counting small keys. And with 3 small keys in the first 7 chests, the tile room chest is roughly twice as likely to contain the big key as it normally is.
I did not know that. Nice information.
It's still not great, but it's a little more likely. Not today, though.
Just 10 arrows.
I know it makes no sense, that's just what the numbers tell me. I ran it against the seeds. Or the pre-generated seeds.
What boss are you hoping will be on ice and on Moldorm 2?
We could see Trinex on ice, that would be fun.
And the Trolldorm full room?
I mean, Helmasaur is always my favorite one there, too. But yeah, he's just a boy is going full right. So we'll get to see Bob's chest pretty soon. This right side play made significantly easier in Enemizer, because the fire bars might not be there.
Four more chests for Slim Kirby before he gets to the same point as where he's just a boy is going to go right now. And we have our first place finisher. We have Bonta has finished in the first place with a time of 2 hours, 8 minutes and 23 seconds. GG to Bonta.
So yeah, this was a seed. First place finishing in 2:08. Hey, big key in Bob's chest. Look at that.
You got the big key. Why didn't you give it to us earlier?
Well, I mean, that's not me. There are other people named Bob. That anti-fairy there was Bob long before I got here. Oh, we're getting some pretty solid sync from our left side runners as well. But no ice boss. That's true.
Maybe we'll get them from Kirby or someone else. Wouldn't guess so, but maybe there's a slight chance.
If anything, someone who's, pretty late along might just say, let's go see what the boss was.
And we have our second place finisher. It's Jilon Ninja with a time of 2 hours, 11 minutes and 30 seconds. GG to
Well
Jilon
played.
Ninja.
So I don't know how much of this 2-hour time is the Enemizer trolling people and how much of it is just the seed and the item locations trolling people. But it's been quite a ride.
That it has indeed. That it has.
So sometimes the gauntlet on the way up GT is made more difficult by Enemizer, and sometimes it's made significantly easier. But Slim Kirby is not going to find out because he just took a death. Well, nope, he's got fairies. Pay no attention to that, man. We have Argus at Landmo 2, and it does in fact look like that door is shut. I know that if blind appears there, you can just walk right by.
That's weird.
Unless that was fixed in the later version. Oh no, the door is open. Never mind.
What?
We just walked right through it. Yeah, no need to kill Argus.
Let's see if Kirby's going to try and kill Argus or just walk through.
This is a solidly programmed game, isn't it, Zarby? Not any spaghetti code anywhere, or anything like that. Oh, the door is open, or is shut for Slim Kirby.
Oh, I think it's when it
When
goes
he defeats
up.
the R guy. Yeah, it goes off screen, and then, yeah.
It's open right now.
Yeah,
Even before
he killed the R guy, and now the door's open.
Even before he went up. And we have Cold Stare again.
Well, good luck with this one. Still no, whatchamacallit, Bombo's medallion to deal with it.
Such a nice and clean fight from He's Just a Boy.
And nobody checked the last two chests on Laser Bridge. I was kind of hoping somebody might, in case it was the boots or something.
I wonder where Willard placed the boots, or if he even placed them. And all the randomization, well, practically all the randomization is gone for He's Just a Boy. So, as all the bosses are the same now.
Alright, so He's Just a Boy is now on Aga 2. We'll be getting to Ganon fight shortly. The Ganon fight should be pretty tame, given our red mail butter sword silver arrows situation here.
And He's Just a Boy is going to be off to the last fight. The fight against Ganon himself.
I think he's rocking the correct sprite for this fight. At this point. He's got the guard sprite going. One of Ganon's minions come back for revenge.
Mutiny!
Oh god, every fire bat also enemized? How about no?
Every fireball would also be really bad. And Kirby got that bottle with a fairy from the firebar chest in GT.
Oh, okay.
So far we don't have a third place finisher just yet, so He's Just a Boy might get it.
Alright, we are on to phase 4. We absolutely found the arrows in Death Mountain. Old man just handed them to us for no reason. Uh-oh, don't fall. Oh! Looked like an accidental silverless hit there for a second. And there we go, a double to finish it off, and He's Just a Boy is done.
Put your GGs in chat for our first place finisher of the restream, and the third place finisher overall with a time of 2 hours, 18 minutes and 23 seconds. GG, He's Just a Boy, and let's see if he would want to come in for an interview. And Slim Kirby is on the Ganon fight right now. And He's Just a Boy. GG and welcome.
Yeah, well played on that seed. It was pretty much awful to everybody. And it wasn't really the Enemizer that did it. We can kind of hear your mic trying to do something. We do have our 4th place finisher in Dow TMB with a 2:20.29.
And put your GGs in chat for Slim Kirby, as he just put that 4th arrow into the pig. And he has just now finished with an official SRTV time of 2 hours, 20 minutes and 38 seconds. Just 9 seconds behind 4th place.
Well played to Kirby.
Let's see if he's interested in an interview. And Kirby will join us in a minute. He's got some things to do first.
Yeah, I know that he likes to shut down his stream before coming in for an interview. His Discord and his stream don't necessarily get along.
And we have our 6th place finisher. It is Frostbite 3030 with a time of 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 20 seconds.
So, can we talk about the amazing sync that's happening over here on the left side? Both runners within a room of each other in the gauntlet. This is big. This is close.
And Mushroom Wall's just a heart piece. Such as is bad.
I heard something there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Mic issue.
Alright, I hear something about mic issues. Yeah. Must be having a mic issue. It's just not connecting or something. But yeah, well played to He's Just a Boy. Very, very well played. If only one of them had found the boots, they could try to hover Cold Stare. That seems like a losing battle. Feels like you're gonna get pelted from ice from above the whole time.
And here is Slim Kirby coming in. Hello and GG Kirby.
Thank you very much.
Well done. Well played. That was, in fact, a seed. And, you know, to be fair, I don't really think it was the Enemizer that made it as annoying as it was.
Yeah, the items were definitely in some interesting places. Cold Stare was kind of annoying, though. He appeared whenever I didn't want him to appear, it seemed like.
Yeah, when you needed magic, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Twice that happened.
Yeah. We were wondering why the very first time you encountered Cold Stare, you didn't throw some sword beams at him in the fire.
I'm not entirely.
You had full health.
I'm not entirely familiar with that strat, so I just kind of was like, eh.
Right, that makes
I'll
sense.
Just go back down.
It's not a necessarily well-known strat, and it's kind of weird. So
I will say though, I'm very surprised that I was 5th after all of that, because I swear that like there were like a couple of points where I literally felt like I was the last item I got for the next progression.
we're seeing somebody in chat has the boots. I'd like to know where they were myself.
Yeah, I have no
Last
idea.
laser bridge. I knew it.
So
Oh,
they
really?
were there.
Of course they were there.
We were talking about how you might check those last two just in case the boots are there and the big key's on the torch.
And I committed at that point that, okay, boots are not going to be required. I just checked way too many things, so I just didn't think it was worth looking for them, just in case, for that 1 out of 23. Or 22, rather.
Well, the only reason that I was thinking about it was because you checked almost everything else outside of GT, and we knew the boots couldn't be in GT.
Yeah, they couldn't have been because of Desert Palace.
And so Hitzion taking care of Aga 2 a little quicker than Jesse. And so that's going to give him a head start on this rather elementary Ganon fight. Oh yeah, trying to tell which Aga is real on this color scheme is a little difficult on account of like the shadows not contrasting as well.
Mm-hmm.
You scared us a little bit on the way up GT with that fairy.
Yeah, because when I play through these, I usually play with like my own music in the background, and since I couldn't disable just the background music, I didn't realize I was that low because I couldn't hear the heart beeping.
Ooh. Yeah, that'll do it for you.
So yeah, at that point, I was making sure I was watching my health at all times.
And we have our 7th place finisher being Jixon with a time of 2 hours, 27 minutes and 24 seconds.
Heatzion is doing the 0 damage Ganon fight, and it is rather impressive. Heatzion walked in with half a heart. Still has half a heart.
Got the torch glitch.
So, what other, So do you enjoy Enemizer, Slim Kirby? Is this one of your favorite things?
I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite things, but I do enjoy it. I kind of like mixing it up from time to time, and I even like doing like a whole bunch of settings like entrance, Enemizer, and even like Sanity. I like doing a whole bunch of different varieties every now and then.
Yeah, just throw it all at once, see what happens.
Yeah, true randomizer, as you could call it.
Were you surprised that Pot Shuffle didn't happen?
Yeah, I was really surprised. Because in the chat before we started the race, like, we weren't even sure enemies were going to be randomized. They made it seem like it was just bosses, so having enemies was a nice surprise, and I'm surprised that, yeah, pots weren't added into the mix either.
And we have Heatzion finishing right here in 8th place with a time of 2 hours, 28 minutes and 24 seconds.
Did anyone else, or did anyone, at least on the restream side of things, did anyone get Bo before the Armos fight, or was all the...
Heatzion did.
Okay.
He pieced out after getting the hook shot.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess he figured he needed the bow when he technically
right.
didn't, but like logically you still did.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have made the fight infinitely easier.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A lot of people in the run had trouble with the room before Armos Knights. That room really trolled people because the mini Moldorm's damage was randomized pretty high for red mail.
That's true. Yeah, I noticed that as well.
And Jesse just finished in 9th place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 29 minutes and 51 seconds.
We will see if we can get any of those guys in here for a chat.
Yeah, this seed, all the cold stairs, it was crazy but also awesome.
Crazy awesome cold stairs. That is the name of this seed.
But having to get the flute from Palace of Darkness to go to Mire Shed to get the mirror? No. Wait.
You had to get the cape out of the Mire Shed to get the hammer.
Yeah.
Which would allow you to go to Tower of Hera to get the crystal so that you could go get the mirror out of the Pyramid Fairy and get jebaited into swamp before going to get the cane of Samari out of ice.
I actually thought about going into ice before I went in the swamp because I got the hammer and I'm like, well, I have this and fire rod. I guess I could go there just to check it out. But then I was like, oh wait, it's a pendant. Never mind. So I kind of wish I would have done that now, looking back on it.
And I mean, to be fair, I had the same idea. I was like, a lot of times I will go ice before swamp because swamp is always garbage. But even today, I was like, no, you go to swamp in this case. All right, let's go ahead and bring in Jesse. Hello, Jesse. How you doing?
Embarrassed.
I wouldn't be.
Oh, man.
You put up a pretty solid time with the rest of this. Everybody had trouble with this seed.
Yeah, I had some deaths in there that were pretty rough.
So
my Hera was really bad.
Oh yeah, Hera caused some issues. The whole cold stare sending you into the hole. That's got to be.
Oh yeah, that killed me. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go down and get this full magic gun. It's gonna take me a while, but at least I can just come right back up. And then I fell, and I was very angry. Yeah, I was very nervous. This was my first restream, so also my first Enemizer. So I don't know.
All right. And it does look like Heatzion will not be joining us today, but well played to him as well. Yeah, this was a seed. I know a lot of people in this race had a lot of trouble with some of the earlier areas, like the second to last room of Eastern Palace really trolled a lot of people.
Yeah. It was, there was some stuff like right out the gate, especially because I was told that it was just a boss Enemizer, not the full Enemizer.
Oh, okay.
So I started the game like, oh wow, this is not what I was expecting. And since I've never done one, I was like, can I do stuff early? Like I just went to Eastern Palace without the bow, thinking, maybe I can do this.
Yep.
I was right. And then
in theory, yes.
Yeah, in theory. And I just had such a hard time with the boss there. Obviously I died. I wish I didn't. But and then that confused me because I was like, a vanilla boss? This is like the exact opposite of what I was told.
Yeah, it just happened to shuffle there that way.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah,
it was an interesting scene. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole Enemizer thing, it's kind of weird to see different enemies, especially the way they randomize the damage on things.
Oh yeah, that was really surprising.
I usually don't randomize health or damage on my enemies just because that's a bridge too far for me.
Yeah, I was like trying to kill stuff that normally you could kill with a fighter sword and it's not dying. I'm like, something's not. Oh, damage is different. I think I killed like the Cyclops guy with one hit, the Master Sword or something. I was like, oh, this is different. Yeah, that was my first randomizer, or my first Enemizer, and it was a doozy.
You're like, I did not sign up for this.
Yeah. I was not planning to run this one, but got talked into it, and it was fun. It was actually a lot of fun. I felt like I could have obviously done better, but
yeah, I mean, your time was right up there with some of the best of them, and nobody finished this seed faster than 2 hours.
Yeah,
pretty interesting. And I think a lot of that just came from where the items were located, not even the enemies.
My go mode was the red cane. Was that most?
Yeah, that was everybody's go mode. Nobody's going into Ice Palace unless you have to.
Yeah, I even went into Mire early just to see if maybe it was there vanilla, and it wasn't. But
you are not the only one. I think everybody went into Mire looking for the cane.
Yeah, I didn't like doing the hammer peg check and the little dude. I didn't want to do any of that stuff, but I was like, let's just do it. Especially when I got the Mire, and I should have went right to Swamp, but I was a little flustered. Some of this run.
I mean, that being said, Swamp was garbage.
Yeah, Swamp was garbage. And then when I went to Ice Palace, I almost went up to Zora first because I didn't have the rupees for it. So I ended up saving a little bit of time by not doing that. So that was good.
Yep. No Zora check. It was just a complete scam today as well.
Thieves Town with Trinex was a little
yeah, basically everybody had to double dip Thieves Town.
Yeah. I got in there, and then I saved and quit, and I should have just died and gone back out. But that was, again, I was a little like, what do I do here? So
yeah. A lot of people, we saw on screen, a lot of people pulled up the save and quit menu and then were like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I realized that after I had done that, but oh well.
It happens.
I was very nervous. Like, this was my first restream, and then it's something I've never done is the Enemizer, so I was like a double nervous. And I think I
you did an excellent job. I am perfectly impressed with everything that happened here.
Cool. It was fun. I actually had fun with it. It's different. It's because it's not something I normally do. Just do normal standard and open. And Enemizer adds something completely different. That's a little crazy. That was fun.
Yep. You should try turning on Pot Shuffle sometime.
Ugh. Man.
It's kind of the worst, but also kind of the best.
Well, it was fun because it was intimidating, and I didn't let it intimidate me too much. So,
yeah, if I have the same kind of advice for a lot of people. If you are worried about jumping into one of these things and worried about getting it set up, just do it.
Yeah.
Well, you can do it, and if not, and if you just keep going at it, you will eventually finish, and everybody will cheer you on, I'm sure, no matter how long it takes.
That's what I figured.
We've had runs that have taken 8 hours on this before, and we've been there the whole way.
Like, I don't feel like I did anything like super egregious. I felt like I had some untimely deaths, and Hera. I'm sure people had problems with it. I wasn't the only one that had problems with Hera.
Right. Yeah.
So I felt like, because it was a little bit more difficult than a normal seed standard or open, I felt good about everything. Even finishing 9th, I feel really good with that.
Yeah.
So.
The only person who actually killed Cold Stare at the top of Hera the first time he went up was he's just a boy. And that was because he had the blue potion that he had from a long time ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I ended up having to waste that. But.
Yeah, I think Slim Kirby, or I think Heatzion used it to beat Cold Stare in Skull Woods.
I wasted a lot of time in Skull Woods, too.
I wasted my green potion in Trinex when I had him down, but then all of a sudden I just kept missing with the other rod and just had to use it there.
Gross. All right, everybody. Anything else you guys want to say about this before we try to wrap things up?
It was fun. I liked it.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun. GG to all the finishers and ones who are still finishing up. And yeah, it was a good time.
All right, so congratulations to our 4 runners, and thank you for running. I want to thank both of our trackers today, which were Bori14 and Level 8. And of course, my co-commentator, Demon's Druid.
Thank you for being here as well.
And thank you all for watching. I have been Dr. Bobtastic, and I would recommend you guys go catch the tournament race over on Speed Gaming, which looks like the first one just finished. So, and the second one will be coming shortly. So thanks everybody. We'll see you later. Thank you all for watching.